What's happening, everyone? JayShockblast here, and check it out. We are playing Immortals Fenyx Rising, which was just shown today during the Ubisoft Forward event, and this used to be called Gods and Monsters. Ubisoft, I have to say thank you to them. They actually gave me the opportunity to play this a little early. It comes out in December on Xbox S, Xbox X, all of them, PlayStation 4 and 5, Nintendo Switch, Google Stadia, PC, basically everywhere you can play the video games, you can video game this. And it's a lot of fun. Obviously, it was called Gods and Monsters, so there's lots of gods and monsters. It's pretty straightforward. But they decided to focus the name around Phoenix, our main character. And as you can see, I'm battling some monsters in front of a rift. Rifts are where you go to upgrade your character. You get lightning bolts of Zeus, something like that, and you need those to upgrade your skill tree, make your character better, and they are big puzzles. And let me just tell you, the Torment of Ikaros was torment for me indeed. So I did 5 of these, and for the most part, I didn't really have that hard of a time until I got to this one. I took about 45 minutes to get through this, and when I say that I finished it just in the nick of time, I had 3 hours slotted, and I think my session was supposed to go until 2 p.m., and I finished this at like 1:58. I don't know, I didn't realize at the beginning there was that huge boulder, and I was supposed to drag it all the way to the end, so I kind of end up going just forward and thinking, oh, this is weird, this isn't that hard, why am I pressing those buttons? It's not doing anything. You can see me kind of turn around and look back. I'm like, this doesn't make sense, I'm not doing something right. But I wanted to condense this all down to a short video because I want to show you, how you can really use a lot of logic and figure out how to get through these. I think for a lot of platformers, you might watch this and say, well, this doesn't seem that hard. And maybe it isn't, but from what I understand, we were told that we were kind of put into a mid portion of the game. So when all of us get to this part of the game, when the game comes out on December 3rd, we will have already gone through a bunch of things to try to and learned about the game. Right now we're in the Forge Land, which is home of Hephaestus, who is the Greek god of blacksmiths and metalworkers and all that stuff. So, I almost died there. So it's a little bit more advanced, and I don't know, maybe if I had started from the beginning and gotten to here, I would have understood everything better. And granted, I had done, this is my 5th rift, but 2 of the rifts I did were combat based. So, I'm not the best platformer, I'm able to admit that. And as you can see here, I'm kind of figuring out, I don't think I'm going the right way, but there's 2 different goals here. Number 1 is to get to the end and get your lightning bolt for Zeus so you can upgrade your character. And number 2, there's that big pillar out in open space off to the left. That is going to have a chest with some gear. And I managed to get the gear from all of the chests that I went into, and in this case, I'm definitely going to try again. This was really tricky because you had to figure out, the exact timing of everything. And I'm going to show you the first time I try, and I definitely fail hard and die. And then I'm going to show you my last run. But in between this, it was like probably about 15 tries, maybe more. And yeah, so you have to basically time it right. And I got to a point where I was actually making my jumps before it came out and trying to angle it right. So this is the one where I'm actually successful. And I felt pretty good about it, man. Like when I got through this, I'm not really a difficulty person, but like this was tough. You can see I'm already making the jumps and I'm already like trying to get them right. Now this is the first time that I actually came to that from the right side. Every other time I was trying to jump on from the left. So I guess that made the difference, but as you can see, we get to the chest, and I don't think I actually get a piece of gear. I get whatever a golden amber is. The skill trees weren't quite available, and crafting and all that stuff wasn't quite available in this build. So I didn't really get to see what I did with that, but now that seems pretty easy. But like, I trust me when I say that I had to really work hard to get to that point. Now this is where I kind of fast forward to the end. I figured out that I had to get the boulder, and again, this was probably the hardest part right at the beginning, because you had to kind of maneuver it and get it over there. And I finally figured out that if I just flew over, and that was very awkward, I could pull it. And again, I think that if I had played this a little bit more, I would have figured it all out a little bit easier. But at this point in the game, I didn't really know what I was doing. Still trying to figure it out, you know, about 2.5 hours in. And yeah, but the puzzles are very cool, very unique. I mean, I don't play a lot of platformy puzzler style games, so you know, it was very cool for me to try to figure it out, and I enjoyed this aspect of it way more than I thought I would. And I think that's really the cool part about this game. You know, it's got that Zelda-y vibe, if you will, and I don't say that like it's a bad thing. I think it's actually a great thing, because I think Zelda is a very popular franchise, and I don't know that this is necessarily in depth as some of the newer Zeldas, but I think it could be. I think this is definitely a game that, especially if you're into Greek mythology, I mean, these are very, you know, classic characters, if you will. From here on out, I don't think I show any unsuccessful attempts, but I still don't completely understand the buttons, obviously, because I'm doing like powers and stuff. It was interesting to try to work my way through and figure all this out, but I really enjoyed the game. I think that's really the big takeaway for this, from this for me, to the point where I was really invested. I was determined. I need to get through this. I know I can. Now, I did watch some of the Ubisoft Forward, and my interpretation is that Fenyx you're able to customize them to your liking. I wasn't able to see that. I was basically given the stock female version, and if I'm being honest, I'll probably just use that. I don't know that I will change it, because I'm one of those type of people. I don't care if the protagonist is male or female. I just want it to be consistent. I look at stuff like, you know, Commander Shepard, and I'm like, well, obviously John Shepard is the only Commander Shepard. Like, that's not even up for debate. But then there's the people that are like, well, no, it's Fem Shep, and it's like, well, you're wrong, but that's okay. I know that's not an Ubisoft game, so I digress. But you get what I'm saying. So, like, I typically would rather just do whatever the stock standard character is. And that's probably what I'll do here. Unless I don't, you know? I very well could also look at the customizer and say, you know what? I can make a character look like me, so I will be Fenyx. But I think that's pretty cool too at the same time. I think everybody loves to have their character, you know, just the way they want to. When I watch it back, here's the crazy part. I don't think it looks nearly as hard as it ended up being. You know, I don't, and I think maybe it's just because I didn't really know the buttons super well. Like, clearly I'm struggling with the button structure for this, and I'm very fortunate that it just sits there and floats. What I did when I spun was I was looking to see if there's like a way that it was supposed to, you know, get knocked forward, but fortunately I managed to figure it out. Now this last kind of part was the second hardest part. Believe it or not, the very first part was the worst. Like, that was the part where I don't know what it was. It just took me so many tries to get it across that path. I hadn't been this far yet, so I didn't know if this would actually go up there. I kind of get up here and I realize, oh, I don't think this is gonna work. It's also damaging me because it's on fire. So it's really cool just how much they thought this out, you know? Like, it's not just a boulder, it's a boulder that's on fire, you know? So I press the button, I realize, okay, it's gonna knock it over to there. But you want to kind of be there, because when that big piece pushes forward, you want to make sure that you are able to drag it forward yourself. Or maybe if you get it right. All right, so I end up resetting because I realized I couldn't do it. This is probably about 6th or 7th try. So I activate, I flew over, it punches it over here, and then I made sure to like get in the way because I wasn't comfortable with it knocking it forward, because it didn't get across the gap. I had already tried trying to just have it knock forward twice, but I found this to be the better way. So again, watching it back, it does seem pretty easy, but I was pretty happy when I got to this point because, man, I battled. Like, this was a long room, a big 45-minute room, but I was able to condense it down to just under 12 minutes. And that is one of the rifts of Immortals Fenyx Rising. And you'll watch, she's going to go in here and get her lightning bolt. And in the full game, we'll be ready to power her up. Look at that. Zeus's lightning. So, cool stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, this comes out December 3rd. Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, PC, even Google Stadia. So, cool stuff. And check it out. We'll see ya.